All right. I'm Jeff Slaga. I work for the Defense Finance and Accounting Service in Indianapolis. Really wanted to come down here today. Thank you for inviting us down here to speak to you guys. And I think the thing that we want to get across today is opportunities, okay? What's out there for you guys? I know you guys hear a lot about public accounting, private accounting, that kind of stuff, tax. I want to show you a different side of it, okay? So what's out there? First thing I want to do is kind of get to know you guys a little bit. Don't hesitate. If you want to get some more food, just come on down here, get some food. You guys got to leave for class, whatever you guys need to do, leave. We'll stick around here if you got more questions or you want to talk afterwards. Please come and see us. But first of all, as I'm taking a majority accounting majors, hands, accounting majors? Yeah, okay. Do we got any, is it finance or?
Finance and information systems.
Okay. Good. And then I guess the next question that I have for you is, how many seniors do we have here? Oh, a lot. Juniors? Okay. Sophomores and freshmen? No freshmen. Okay. All right. How many people are considering not staying in Evansville when you graduate? Okay. That's actually more than I expected. Okay. Let's see, what else did I have question-wise? Last question. Who has heard of DFAS, or the Defense Finance and Accounting Service? Yeah, all right. I got two. All right. Well, you know what? That's pretty much what I expected to hear. This is my disclaimer to begin with. I don't work for HR. I am not a recruiter. I don't do the hiring for DFAS as a whole. I do oversee an organization. I do have positions and vacancies, and I do want you guys all to come and work for DFAS. But I am not here as a recruiting event. Unfortunately, we will not be at the career fair this year. Our HR will not be there. But I want to let you know that there's still opportunities, and just because we don't come to a career fair doesn't mean that there's not opportunities for you in the federal government. So that's my disclaimer. If you want to go ahead and click the slides. That's just my background, I guess. I'm a USI grad, okay, so I'm excited to be back here on campus 12 years ago, I guess, something like that. Yeah, you can click the next slide. I'll let Stevie introduce herself as well.
All right, and I'm Stevie Lynch, so I'm a USI grad too, and I was in Toastmasters and Beta Alpha Psi and all that, and then when I graduated, I actually went straight into public accounting, so I was where a lot of you are right now. I went to USI, and I went through all the different recruiting events, and I saw Harding-Szymanski, and I was like, oh, I think I want to stay in Evansville and work in public accounting, and that's where all the public accounting firms were coming. I'd never heard of DFAS before, so I went straight in there. I worked tax and audit for about 2 years, and I actually taught at Central High School here in Evansville for about a semester. But then I started thinking about just different opportunities, and that's why I decided to move to Indianapolis and start working at DFAS. And I've not been there as long as Jeff. I've only been there since February, but I really love it. It's a different world. It's got a lot of opportunities. So I hope those of you that have never heard of DFAS will really open your eyes, because there's a lot out there you can do other than just public accounting, and this is something you don't hear a lot about here. And it's hard to get into the federal government. So if you pay attention, you know, where you're in, where you're opening, and your opportunities. So listen, and you may get a chance to really have an awesome career.
And Stevie's wonderful, by the way. I lucked out with her, kind of, I'll say, she found her way to DFAS, okay? So she didn't find her way through the career fair, and she made her way to DFAS herself. And I'm just very fortunate that she came to my organization. I was able to pick her up, and I know the talent here, and I know the school, and I know that you put out very good accountants. So I really want some more employees like Stevie. Thank you for putting together this presentation as well, Stevie. So a little bit about our mission, right? What do we do? What does the Defense Finance and Accounting Service do? We pay the warfighter, so that they are our main focus. All right, the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines out there, they're fighting on the battlefield, and the last thing that we want them to worry about is getting a paycheck, right? And they're deployed overseas. They have family back home that's dependent upon that. And that's our number one focus, is paying the warfighter. Everything that we do is to support them, but at the Defense Finance and Accounting Service, and you can roll into the next slide. What we do and who we are, we're part of the whole federal government. Okay, so I kind of touched on in the beginning. There's more than just DFAS out there, by the way, for accounting. Okay, and in our building, I'll touch on that in just a second. Kind of who some of the other federal employees are that are even in our building here in Indianapolis. But you talk about across the United States, the federal government is huge, and there's a lot of accountants that are needed across the federal government. What we do, you can keep me here for a second. So just to tell you how DFAS works, okay, and where we get our funds from, I'll say, to get paid to be able to do our mission. Congress, federal government appropriates funds. So they might appropriate funds to the Army, to the Navy, to the Air Force, and those folks have those funds, and they got to use them for their different missions, be it buying airplanes, going on a mission overseas, whatever it is. Everything that they do has a financial trail behind it, okay? Everything they buy and everything they process comes behind it. We're actually what we call a working capital fund. So it's kind of like a break-even company, I'd say. So they pay us what they need in order for us to maintain their services. Our job is not like an accounting firm to make a bottom line and make a profit. Our job is to pay our employees and our infrastructure and our costs and break even at the end of the day so that every other dollar goes back to the warfighter. All right. So I touched on it. What do we do? Number one thing, paying the warfighter, paying our vendors, our contractors, our civilians, everybody that works for the Department of Defense, we pay for. The president's check actually comes out of DFAS, even though he's not part of the Department of Defense. That's just a tidbit of information. After pay, we have our second rock. I'd say we have three big rocks that we do. We pay. Number two is we account. All right, we're an accounting firm. We account for the Department of Defense's financial statements. The third part of that now is audit support. So we're being audited today, okay? The Department of Defense has yet to get a financial statement audit. We're currently going through, I'll say, the first Department of Defense-wide audit now in FY 2018. And it's an enormous undertaking, okay? Our customers are the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, every defense agency, which you guys don't really know what that means, but I'm going to throw some out there and maybe you've heard of. SOCOM, Special Operations Command, DARPA, Defense Area Research Program, MDA, Missile Defense Agency. So these are a bunch of agencies that most people don't even think of. There's about 26 of them that we support in Indianapolis, and there's some more that we support in Columbus. All of those organizations are each going under their own audits, okay? And it's rolling up into a big DoD audit. It's a massive undertaking that we're supporting, and we are there to get our customers' financial statements audited. That's our goal. All right. So this is just kind of a gee whiz chart a little bit. It's kind of showing you how big we really are. If you take the biggest organizations in the country, the world, Walmart, Google, everything else, the DoD as a business is bigger than all of them. All right, I saw another chart at a conference, a seminar that showed for defense agencies. I was talking about those defense agencies. If you put all of our defense agencies together as one organization, so I'm not talking about the Army, the Air Force, and Navy, put those guys aside, just our defense agencies, we're bigger than Walmart, okay? We're big. On the right, the chart on the right, what that's showing you is the DoD's budget has been increasing. That's the numbers are from about 1993 to present day. So since 93, we've went up almost 50% for the DoD budget. Okay. At the same time, you can see DFAS, we went down about 50%. So what does that mean? We're doing it with less people, less infrastructure. We're looking for people that are going to come in that are going to be innovative. They're going to find ways to do things better, faster, process improvement, automation, all those things I'm sure you guys are learning about here, right? So we went from about 26,000 people down to 12,000 people. We went from about 30 DFAS sites across the country to 10 locations now, over about 10, 20-year plan. If you guys have any questions, stop me throughout please ask, okay? I'm here for you guys, all right?
What's DOD and what's...
All right, good question. See, these are things that I'm inundated in acronyms, by the way. Okay, we live in an acronym society, so thank you for stopping me. DoD, Department of Defense. Okay, so when we're talking federal government, you back up a couple slides real quick. So when we're talking about the federal government up there at the top, all right, and I talk about my customers I support. I support the Department of Defense. So anybody, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, defense agencies. All right. Other organizations in the federal government that's not DOD. DOH, Department of Homeland Security. Have you heard of them? Their Customs and Border Patrol fall underneath them, so that's a big one. They actually have an accounting office in Indianapolis. They're moving into our building in 2021, plan to. Department of Veteran Affairs, Department of Education, Department of Energy. So these are all the different departments. And the size, I'm just kind of putting them in comparison though, just so you know. So a lot of these departments, the size of them aren't scalable to the Department of Defense. So what we do in the Department of Defense, and this is why our business is unique, is because of each one of those services I talked about, Army, the Air Force, the Navy, Marine Corps, a lot of those services are bigger than most of those other departments. They're bigger than most companies in the world. So pulling all that together, that's our mission, okay, accounting-wise. Does that help? It's a good question. Yes, sir.
How does DFAS engage with GAO?
So the GAO is Government Auditing Organization, correct? Accounting Organization, sorry. So GAO, I'll say they are a GAO and the DODIG, Department of Defense Inspector General. Those two are, I'll say, independent organizations in the Department of Defense. IG is in the Department of Defense. The GAO is more government-wide. So they're going to oversee more of all of those departments I talked about, Homeland Security and everybody else. IG is specific to the Department of Defense. They're there as let's keep us right? They're an oversight organization. So GAO might come in and say, they might do an audit on us, okay? It's not usually a financial statement audit. It's like a compliance audit. It'd be something like, we want to make sure, I'm just making stuff up, by the way. We want to make sure that, you got all your facilities accounted for, right? That your infrastructure is right, those kind of things. We deal more. We have the IG, Department of Defense IG, do compliance audits on us more than we interact typically with GAO. Yeah. Yep. Any other questions? Yeah?
Why would DFAS be declining rapidly when the Department of Defense is expanding rapidly?
So we're not declining. We're having to become more efficient. So every taxpayer out there, that's a great point. I'm glad you led me into this because it's something I wouldn't have covered. But why are we being audited? We haven't done it in ever, okay? It's been out there in public law for us to do it, okay? But why do we need to be auditable? The answer to that question is because the taxpayer wants us to be. We need to be able to justify every dollar that we spend, right? Is why we're spending it for that taxpayer. Why are we declining? Why does it look like we're declining? We're not declining. We're becoming more efficient, all right? So we're reducing redundancies, eliminating waste, improving systems, integrations, feeds, that kind of thing, process improvements, right? So that's what we're looking for, all right? And that's why you might say it looks like we're declining. The point I was trying to make there was that it's going up, right? The Department of Defense is going up. DFAS and how much we're spending is going down. Because every time the Army comes to me and says, DFAS, how much we're paying you? How much are we paying you? I want to pay you less. I need this money. I need to go buy an airplane. All right. So every time we can decrease our costs, that warfighter has another dollar in their pocket.
That makes a lot of sense.
All right.
Thank you.
Good question. All right. Good. All right.
The warfighter has another dollar. Isn't their income kind of?
Not specifically the individual warfighter. What I meant by that, if you want to take it a step further, the American people have another dollar in their pocket. Okay. Maybe if you want to take it a holistic view, taxes. You're paying taxes out of your paycheck. Okay, that are going to the federal government. All right. So if it's a dollar that we don't have to spend for one less person, one less site infrastructure that we're paying for, all right, our customers are not having to pay us for that, right? So that's a dollar in their pocket. They have more of their budget to spend. If they cut their budget, that goes into the taxpayer's pocket. Yes, sir.
Put that in perspective, because of a hurricane that's coming ashore in the Carolinas, they moved several planes from the Carolinas to Lexington, Kentucky. It was several $1 billion worth of airplanes. So it's a pretty penny that goes into the military to support a lot of the equipment.
Yep. All right. Keep going. Oh, back one, sorry. Dead end. Okay, I'll hand it over here. So, all right, third largest site in Indianapolis. All right, people don't know that. Pentagon is the largest federal building in the United States. It's huge, by the way. You get lost in there easily. Ronald Reagan Library, and then DFAS, Emmett J. Bean Center in Indianapolis. We got about 4,000 DFAS employees in the building. We had up to 5 or 6 at one point. We're clearing out the first floor. And some of those other agencies I talked about are moving in. Army has some employees in there, use of FinCom. We have the DODIG has a cell in the building. And the big one that's coming in is Department of Homeland Security, Customs and Border Patrol, as well as I think the Marine Corps is coming in the building as well. Yeah, I think at that, I'm going to turn it over to Stevie and let her talk about DFAS a little bit.
Yeah, so when he's talking about it, it's really big, and it's so cool because you have, full security clearance when you come in. So it's almost like you're going through airport security. I mean, not as stringent every day. So it's very secure. It's very, cool. People are going through background checks and security clearances just to get in. So you kind of feel like you're a part of a mission that's really helping support America. So I really love that about working there. And so since it's so big, we have all these amenities right there. So we have a huge cafeteria. There's a convenience store like you'd have at the gas station. We have a Starbucks. There's a credit union. There's a barber shop. And then my favorite is we have a 24/7 fitness center. It's free. And I live like right across the street from DFAS. So I go over there all the time. If it's midnight and I need to work out, I just show my badge really quick and I can go in and do my thing. So that saves a lot of money. It's pretty cool. And then we have a bunch of different locations too. So the really cool thing about DFAS is we're in Indianapolis. So we both live in Indianapolis and we represent Indianapolis, which is the headquarters for DFAS. But if you're interested in going to different places, there's a lot of different locations that you can get your start. So these are kind of our major sites, and I'll let Jeff talk about these in a little more detail. But also I want you to think about, too, big picture-wise, just getting into the federal government in general, too. There's a lot of different options. There may not be a DFAS here in Evansville, but there's also like IRS offices in Evansville. So if you started out at DFAS, you could branch back here. There's really, there's federal government offices everywhere in the world. So wherever you're looking at, there could be an opportunity out there for you, and DFAS could be the way to get your foot in the door.
Yeah, sure. Just a little bit about the sites real quickly. Just so you know, Indianapolis, it is our headquarters. It is our largest site. Our main customers we support in Indianapolis is the Army, and then I mentioned the defense agencies. Okay, so 26 of them that we support. Columbus is our Air Force primary customer, and they support about 12 defense agencies as well. Cleveland is the Marine Corps and the Navy. They support there. And Rome, primarily Army and SOCOM. And then Limestone, Maine is a small, about 500 people there that support the Air Force. The other sites that we have, not really going to get into it too much because their missions are really small. They're kind of satellite sites that we have. Internationally, Japan and Europe, we do a lot of vendor payment stuff for overseas missions over there.
Okay, so this is our compensation. So unlike a lot of different private and public positions where maybe you'll start out the same salary-wise and then you'll start to see certain people really take off and others will stay the same, and it's very much based on your performance. DFAS is a lot based on just basic salaries, based on years of service and having certain different qualities that they look for. So when you look at this compensation graph, it's a little bit, it's big, it's hard to explain. But basically, if you have a bachelor's degree and you come into DFAS, you're going to start here at a grade 7. Roughly, and you'd start here in the first few steps. So your starting out pay would be somewhere around $42,000, and that's adjusted. These are all Indianapolis numbers, so this is adjusted for inflation in the different cities. These are Indianapolis location numbers. So you start out with that. But then as you increase and you go throughout the company, your salary can increase pretty rapidly. So if you come in with a master's degree, you would actually start out, instead of starting out at a 7, you'd start out all the way here at a 9. And you'd start out here at around $50,000 to $51,000 a year, just having a master's degree and starting out with the company. And then as you go on and you increase each kind of year that you go through, think of it sort of like a year, and you get your performance review back and you do fairly good on it, you do everything and you do everything right, you'll go up in these steps. So if you come in with a master's degree, you can increase maybe the next year you're making $52,000, the next year you're making $54,000. That increases a little slower as you go on. They say it takes about 15 years to increase all the way across through one grade, but you can advance pretty quickly and you have a really steady income that way. You don't have to be so worried and it's not so arbitrary. I know in public accounting we'd get very flustered and sometimes we'd even get in pretty intense arguments if somebody was getting a big pay raise and somebody wasn't, and nobody really knew what the formula was for that, except for maybe one of the presidents really liked this person better than this one. And here at DFAS, if you do your work and you do what you're supposed to, you get certifications, you get degrees, you can advance pretty quickly and make pretty good income. And then also, I'll talk a little bit about the LIM program too, but I'm in a program right now where I came in with my master's degree and started working there. And I complete a series of tasks, and a lot of it's training and development, things like that actually help me grow as a person anyways. And then once I complete those steps, I can advance up several grades. So I'm starting right now, I'm just a level 9, but here next year, I'll already jump to a level 11. So that's how quickly, and that's just 1 year of working there, I'll already jump up 2 more grades. So you can advance pretty quickly salary-wise, and there's that stability, and there's that, knowing to a certain degree what you're going to be making from 1 year to the next. So benefits you get, medical, dental, vision, life insurance, pretty good insurance too. For those of you that have been out and looked at insurance compared to private, it's going to be pretty substantial packages. Retirement is really cool. So you get kind of a 3-part retirement system. You get a defined benefit plan, so your pension portion of it. You get a thrift savings plan, so kind of like a 401k type piece. And then you also get Social Security. So I know from working in public accounting, we only got this little 401k piece. And not only that, but DFAS puts back more than 3%. And when I worked in public accounting, our whole retirement was just 3% match on our 401k. That was it. So the rest of it we had to save for ourselves, and that's a substantial amount of money to put back. Just the 401k piece is bigger than what I was getting in public accounting. Then you also get a pension piece and you get Social Security. So you can have a pretty heavy retirement, then plus anything else you want to save for yourself, which is, that translates to a lot. So just some basic math on that. Let's say it's based on your top 3 years of service. So the 3 years you made the most money out of all the years you worked. So let's say you made $100,000 for the top 3 years of all the years you worked. So they take 1.1% of that. So that would be at $1,100. And then they multiply that by the years of service. So let's say you started at 25, you retire when you're 65, that's 40 years. you'd make $44,000 a year just on your pension is what you would get. And then on top of that, you get whatever's in your 401k plus whatever you get from Social Security plus whatever you have saved back. So that can be a really substantial amount. And when you add that into the salary, I mean, like I said, and I know those salary numbers starting out, I just came from public accounting here in Evansville, they're about the same. I mean, they're really close. What you're going to be getting in public accounting starting out, it's not that big a differential. And then plus you get this huge pension piece and all the retirement and the insurance benefits as well too. And then paid time off, we get a lot of time off too. 10 paid holidays a year. We get sick leave of 4 hours per pay period and annual leave. For your first 3 years, you just get 4 hours. But if you can see, by the time you get 15 years, you're getting a full day of annual leave every 2 weeks. So, and that's just to take, for vacations or for anything you need like that with your family. So, again, I think when I worked in public accounting, we got 10 days a year was it. And sick leave, you just basically didn't take sick leave. So
Your sick leave doesn't expire either. So you can carry that throughout your entire career, and you have it left over at retirement. It's a cash out.
So lots of time off, you can save it up and do a lot of cool things with it. I know some people in my department right now are taking like the whole month of December off. They've been working there so long and saved it and saved it and saved it. So a lot of opportunities there. This is really cool. So we have flexible scheduling, so you're not required basically to be in at a certain time of the day and to leave at a certain time of the day. So most departments you can come in anytime between 6 and 8:30 in the morning and leave anytime between like 3 and 6 or 7 o'clock every night, as long as you're there for 8 hours throughout the day. And then you do get a 30-minute lunch. And I think this is kind of cool because anymore a lot of workplaces, they don't want to give you your lunch. So like, oh, just work through lunch. People take their lunch at DFAS. They actually do. They take their lunch, they take a break, they relax, then they come back in and get back to what they're supposed to be doing. And you get 2 15-minute paid breaks every day. So one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And people at DFAS are really active. They bring their tennis shoes, they go take their break, they do a couple laps around that huge building, get some exercise in. So do whatever you want with it. But it's completely normal to get up away from your desk, go take that 15-minute break and come back. It's an actual real break. And so then there's also a few departments do compressed work schedules. So they actually work like, a couple extra hours in the end of each day, get like every other Friday off. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do your day. So I'm an early morning person. I usually work 7 to 3:30. Some people are late workers. They'll work like 8:30 to 5 or something. So whatever fits everyone's schedule, there's a lot of different flexibility there.
Mission requirements.
What's that?
Pending mission requirements.
Pending mission requirements. So if you have a specific meeting and you have to be there or anything like that, you have to come in at certain times.
But as she mentioned her, she's got on this sheet. Anytime you work, anything you work over your 8 hours, you're getting compensated for it. Either you're earning extra leave or you're getting paid overtime for it. So we work 8 hours. Anything over that we work, we get compensated for it.
So can you not leave if you have a doctor's appointment?
No, that's why you get 4 hours of sick leave every pay period. Yeah, you take your leave. So a lot of people schedule their doctor's appointments and stuff during the day between their mission requirements, and take your 2 hours in the middle of the day, go to the doctor, come back, good to go. Yeah. I know we're pressed for time here.
So telework is a really big thing at DFAS. So you're typically eligible after about 90 days of employment. And this varies across, DFAS is a huge organization. So all the different departments vary on their telework schedules and things like that. But a lot of people get snow days, they get telework, so that's different. When I worked in public accounting, we didn't have telework, so I stayed in a hotel if I thought it was going to snow the next day. That's what I had to do, because I had to be there the next day to get those tax returns done, because they're due April 15th. At DFAS, they say, hey, it's going to snow tomorrow. Everybody bring your laptops home. We can work from home. You'll still get paid. You'll still get the work done. And then there's also situational telework. So if you have a really urgent thing, let's say you've got a plumber coming, and so you've got to be home just to open the door, but you still want to work all day, you can sometimes get approved to do things like that. And then we also have regular and recurring telework. And again, this differs by department, but a lot of departments, people will telework like 3 days a week. They'll telework Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then they're only even in the office Tuesdays and Thursdays, or if they have a specific meeting they're going to. And our telework system is really, really really awesome. I mean, it's not, you may have had, odd situations with it before, but it's easy to connect to, and everyone does a really great job of it. So we all communicate, we all get our work done, but it's really common for all your coworkers to be out of the office all the time, working from home, then you can work in your pajamas if you need to, and have that relaxation, not have to waste the travel time going back and forth. So it saves you a lot of time in the long run. And then we have some awesome career development. So I can speak to this right now. I'm going through the CMA program, Certified Management Accountant. So I already passed one test. I'm about to take the second part. It's a 2-part exam, and I can speak with any of you about that as well if you're interested in it. But basically, DFAS will reimburse you, so you have to pay for it up front. But they'll reimburse you for all of your expenses for like the CPA, the CMA, and there's certain other examinations that you can take. So they'll totally reimburse you. And then the really cool part is they give you up to 40 hours of paid work time just to study for the exam. So like when I did my first exam, I just took 3 days off work and stayed at home and studied. And then also you get the days of the exam off. So I took 3 days just to study. The 4th day I took the day off and went and took the exam. And that's really cool. That takes a lot of stress off of you. I think that helped me a lot with passing, just to be able to relax and go over my notes. So that's really great. And then whenever you get it all done, you just apply and they'll reimburse you for all those exam fees. And they even reimburse you for like some of your CPEs and some of your fees to stay relevant with the certifications. And then also I know they pay for some of your bachelor's or master's mission-related tuition. They won't cover all of your coursework for a whole year, but it's a certain number of classes per year.
2 classes a year.
2 classes per year that they will cover for you to go get those. So that's another thing that they cover. And then also they have a lot of professional organizations. I'm a member of AGA, and I believe you're a member of ASMC. And then they have Toastmasters, actually, there on campus. So a lot of different ways to get active and get out and meet people and network just within that huge 4,000 person organization.
I'll just real quickly. So they pay for 2 classes a year for anybody. This competitive program, they'll pay for your entire master's degree. Okay, if you make it into this competitive program. All right.
And this is, I talked to this a little bit earlier, but this is the Leaders in Motion program. And so it's a 2-year program, and you can get into it on application, or you can get into it later on in your career. What it is it's focused on people who really want to grow in their career at DFAS and want to eventually become leaders in the organization. So you do a lot of different things. You get into a mentorship program, you work with a mentor and they help develop you. You work on like a Lean Six or a Green Belt. Has anyone heard of like Lean Six or Green Belt projects? Six Sigma. It's a pretty prestigious program, and having that green belt will look good at any organization you work at. But basically that's all about trying to find efficiencies and save money and save time and make things better. So they do require you to do a project like that. So it's a requirement of the program, and it'll help you in the long run. You go to leadership trainings, you do presentations. You also go on rotations to other departments. So you don't just get stuck in your department. You get to go out and see what else is out there at DFAS. So maybe you'll say, hey, I'm not sure if I like it here, but there's 100,000 different departments I could possibly go to. Let me go see what all is out there and try different things. And then you kind of graduate from it, and that's when you get that big pay raise too. So it comes with benefits for you other than just becoming a leader and getting to say you went through the program as well. And then we do have the financial management certification. This is required upon hire, so you have to get certified through DFAS as a financial manager with the government. However, the cool thing about USI is about 80% of your coursework for this financial management certification is just covered by your USI classes. So when I went through it, I just was like, okay, I took these classes, here's my transcripts. It covered most of it. And then what's not covered, a lot of the classes you can take just during your time at work, and they pay you for it. And you can learn a lot too. I learned a lot about governmental accounting just taking those courses, because I think you take like a semester of it in advanced accounting. Maybe it's kind of joined in there with not-for-profit accounting. So you don't get that kind of experience in college. And coming into DFAS, they'll teach you how all the government financial statements work and how the funds flow and how all that happens.
So I know we're over time, so I'm going to go through this real quick. So I really just wanted to show you guys. I've been there for 12 years. I said some of the cool things I've got to experience or see while I've been working for DFAS. Okay, so top left there, that's in Hawaii. That's the memorial there in Hawaii. The bottom right, that's the demarcation zone in Korea. So I'm actually standing in North Korea right there with the South Korean soldier. So where the line crosses between North and South Korea, there's a building there. Go ahead, next slide. I've got to do some leadership training. The one on the left is at Marine Corps Base, Hawaii. Got to shoot a lot of guns and fake guns through a leadership program that I was in. It was really cool. We got to see the warfighter. Okay, all this stuff is voluntary. All right, and I guess one of the things I want you to take away here is taking advantage of opportunities, and that's one of the things I preach to when I get to speak to our young professionals at DFAS. Timing's never perfect. Okay, so whatever you're doing for your career, whatever decision you're making, when you're making them, and you're thinking about, I got this going on, I got that going on. Timing's never perfect, all right? So take advantage of your opportunities while they're there. Take the hard positions, the hard jobs once you're in whatever organization you're in, okay? Those things will help you progress through your career. Bottom right, I deployed to Kuwait and Iraq in 2008 with an Army unit voluntarily, okay, as a DFAS employee, spent 6 months over there. One of the most rewarding experiences of my entire career. It was awesome. Go ahead, next slide. That's some more North Korean, South Korean pictures. Yeah, me acting like a soldier when I was overseas. I did not have a firearm. It was unloaded. It was somebody else's. They let me take a picture with it, but no, they did not issue me a firearm when I went into Iraq. All right, next slide. Graduating from these leadership development programs, I got to see, that was really special, on Pearl Harbor Day, the ceremony, and at the time there was only, I think, 5 remaining survivors from Pearl Harbor, and they had one of the big ceremonies. I don't think they're even doing it anymore because there's so few survivors left, but that was a really cool experience. And then got to meet some of our customers at Coast Guard down there below. All right, so I think what we got here for you, if you're interested, all right.
Pass around a sign-up sheet as well. If you want to just put down your name and your email address, we can send you a copy of the slides and any other information you're interested in.
And as I said, we're not coming to the career fair, but you guys can go online, USA Jobs, and there is information out there on how to apply. I am personally looking for employees, okay? For my organization, I am looking for people. I need people. So if you are interested, please come and talk to us. You get the next slide there. What we're looking for, and I'll just sum this up. I'm looking for self-motivated go-getters, period, okay? People that are going to come in, do a job. I don't have to tell you what to do. You're going to go learn it. We're going to give you the training, okay? Don't get me wrong. We're going to give you the training and everything else you need to be successful at your job. But you're going to go in, you're going to be innovative, and you are going to solve problems. That's what I'm looking for. All right, and here's our postings of what's coming available. We have summer internships available. You have to apply online for those. They are open. I think they should be out there right now for both the summer internships in accounting as well as finance, if you're not an accounting major, IT as well. And we have a direct hiring authority. If you are interested in a position and you're a graduating senior, feel free to reach out to Stevie here or see us afterwards, okay?
And if you see the dates on there, they close fairly soon. So some of these internships close October 8th, and some of these other ones close later in November. So that means get on there right now because you may not see another opening for a while. So you want to be proactively checking that website all the time. I know when I wanted to get in at DFAS, I was checking the website every morning when I checked my email because I really wanted those openings to be there. It's late. We went way over time. So I thank you guys. If you got any questions, I mean, we're here. We're going to answer them, okay? So I want to let everybody else go. So thank you for your time. Thanks for having us, and really appreciate it. Thank you.